Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. It is the daughter of Babylon who came out of the same pagan system, the moon deity, but also the very same region, the very same location as the mother Babylon. So who is the daughter of Babylon? The very nation that came from the same land with the same allegiance to the moon deity Allah. Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
Nimrod worship, established worship. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. The nations who control these economic cycles are the Arab nations with their oil. The woman is symbolic of the city in the midst of this entire black liquid. Mecca in Saudi Arabia, the daughter of Babylon. Don't miss this. Because Saudi Arabia didn't just pop up in a vacuum. Saudi Arabia is Babylon with a new name. She came from the womb of the land and the womb of the religious system that was anti-Moshiach, started by Nimrod. Can I hear a good amen? So who is Babylon? Iraq, Babylon. Who was the daughter of Babylon? Saudi Arabia. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Who's the mother of all harlots? Nimrod. The garbage that Nimrod started has led to all these deviant religions, the greatest of which today is Islam. So Babylon is the mother of what? All harlots. Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
Todah Rabba Yahweh. Now verse 8. And the messenger said to Zechariah, the Navi, this is wickedness. No, 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 no. And he cast her in the midst of the ephah, and he cast the talent of lead upon its mouth. Let me read that again. So Yahweh begins to judge this ephah, measure, barrel, and the woman in the midst of the ephah, and cast her into the midst of the ephah, and he cast the talent of lead upon its what? Mouth. In other words, Yahweh shuts down the oil barrel, or the economic collapse of the woman, and the woman is also experiences a spiritual collapse due to her own what? Wickedness. You with me? She is cast in the midst of the ephah. What does that mean? That means her economy will be destroyed by Yahweh. You hear that? All of her wealth, all of her opulence, all of her material things will be destroyed because the woman will be cast, what? To drown in her own black gold. Make sense? She will drown. Yahweh will destroy Babylon what? Economically. And then after economically, look. He cast the lead, the talent of lead, on its own, on her own what? Mouth. Are you with me? What did we call the lead before? The arrogance, the pride, and what? The system of Islam. So, Yahweh shuts down the oil barrel, economic collapse, the woman is drowned into it, spiritual collapse, due to her own wickedness and the judgment of what? All this is happening how? Through the flying Torah scroll. All this is not by might, not by power. Vengeance is mine, says Yahweh. I will repay. This is all happening through the flying Torah scroll. That's the Torah we kiss every Shabbat. That's the Torah we read from every Shabbat. That's the Torah we believe in every Shabbat. That's the Torah we lift up. So that's the same Torah. Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
That's going to destroy Yahweh's enemies. Todah Rabba Yahweh. Now look at this. The master describes this city as wickedness, reserved for judgment, with a lead weight, meaning a metaphor for Yahweh's crushing judgment. Boom! What's Yahweh going to do to oil, that system, that beast system, that fueled by the oil? He'll take the lead weight of her own pride and visit it upon her own what? Wickedness, and upon her own what? unrighteousness, and Yahweh takes that lead from the midst of the barrel. He removes the arrogance and the pride of the end-time beast and crushes the end-time beast with her own arrogance. What a Yahweh. What a mighty Yahweh we serve. What a mighty Yahweh we serve. Angels bow before him. Heaven and earth adore him. What a mighty Yahweh we serve. Tudarabah. Yahweh. Notice, her sins are very heavy and will not be removed. Casting the lead weight is symbolic of devastation by war as well. The Torah and war. War in Iraq. Islam versus the Qeda, or the Western nations west of Cyprus. Babylon was and remains the source of origin for all false religions birthed by Nimrod. In other words, if you take Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, and all these, Turkey, and all these, Pakistan, all these nations, and put them back together. You put Humpty Dumpty back together again. You have Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. Here, why is it Mystery Babylon, Althea? It's Mystery Babylon. And Papa and Roma is Roma. And Papa and Roma. You know why it's a mystery? Because the whole religious, stupefied world is looking for everywhere. When you look at a map, look for Babylon on a map. You won't find it. It's gone. But it now goes under a different name. Turkey, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia. That's why it's a mystery to the naked eye, not to the spiritual eye. Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
I don't know if that was a good amen, but we'll live with it. Look at verse 9. Then Zechariah the prophet lifted up his eyes and look, see, there came 2 women. You think you had problems before? So the vision, the fine Torah scroll, the vision continues. You start with one woman, Yahweh goes and crushes it with her own pride and arrogance, and then all of a sudden pops up a second woman. Hello? See, Jack Van Impe doesn't explain it this way, does he? You know why? Because he doesn't know. I'll be gracious today. I'll just move on. I don't want to criticize somebody else, even though he doesn't know squat. And you know why we used to think pre-tribulation rapture, the church flying away, blah, 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 and the end-time beast is the Catholic. You know why? Because those are the ones who taught us the word of Yahweh. That's what we learned. We didn't know any better. You're talking about a Hal Lindsey fanatic. Everything Hal Lindsey wrote, I bought. I made the man rich. Because of me, he's able to retire and dye his beard and his mustache black. Before I bought his books, he was gray. Now look. Now, I mean, I respect Hal Lindsey, but he's got a lot of stuff he's going to answer for. We're all going to answer for things we taught. But, I mean, this is the truth of what Yahweh is saying, and this is the end-time beast we need to deal with. Now, okay, so we're verse 9. Then Zechariah once again lifts up his eyes, and look, there came out 2 women. If you didn't believe me before, would you believe me now, children of Yahweh? B'nai Yeshua, would you believe me now? Here are your 2 women. Ready? That is, now these 2 women that are sitting on these measured ephahs of oil, black gold, are symbolic of Mecca, the spiritual capital of the economic system of black gold, Saudi Arabia, and Babylon, Iraq, or Babylon, Iraq, and her daughter, Mecca, in Saudi Arabia, the world's 2 leading oil producers. You go on any website, Google, Schmoogle, Yahoo, First Serve First, I don't care where you go. Any statistic by anybody shows the 2 world's leading exporters of petrol are Saudi Arabia and Iraq. The mother and the daughter, the 2 women sitting in these measured barrels of ephah and black gold oil. It ain't just one woman, honey. It's two women. Isn't that what Gilead teaches us? Isn't that what the book of Revelation teaches us? It's two women. Babylon and her daughter. Symbolic here again of the spiritual capital of the black gold marketer, Saudi Arabia and Babylon. Babylon and her daughter, the world's two leading oil producers. You remember when George Herbert Walker Bush was president? You remember Saddam Hussein went after Kuwait? And then he threatened to go after who? Saudi Arabia. And the Bush alliance with the end-time beast swung into action. And George Bush said, you can't cross this line. If you cross this line by January 15th, we're going to go to war. Because his buddies were the Saudis. They still are the Saudis. Okay? And Bush did nothing when Saddam attacked Kuwait. But as soon as Saddam lined up his troops against the daughter, because Saddam knew the truth, see? We don't know the truth because we get our information from the New York Times. Saddam knew the truth. He knew that was his daughter, and he was going to get her daughter back home. Can I hear a good amen? Why was he massing troops on the Saudi border? To bring the wandering daughter back home. He said Saudi Arabia is nothing but another arrondissement of Iraq. Those of you from France know what an arrondissement is. It's a district. Yeah, Saudi Arabia was just another district of Iraq. But one of the reasons Yahweh did not allow Babylon, Iraq, to retake Saudi Arabia back into this greater Babylon is because Zechariah 5:9 says, in the end times, the end time beast will primarily manifest itself with how many women? It's really one woman, but if you peel away the onions, you'll find two. Bruno, you with me? It's really one woman. It's one woman. But if you peel away the onions, you'll find two. Can I hear a good amen? Amen. Baruch Hashem, Yahweh. The two leading oil-producing, exporting nations today. First, there was one woman, the city, Babylon. Now there are two cities, Babylon and Mecca. Both involve propagating false faith, both spreading false religion through political clout, through barrels of oil, or blackmail. You ever hear of the term blackmail? This is real blackmail. And nothing to do with white folks or black folks. It has to do with oil folks. You want to know what blackmail is? This is blackmail. They are spreading their false religion through political clout, barrels of oil, blackmail of the petrodollar. They have a lot of economical power to move not just people, but entire nations. Entire nations. So from this ephah, this measured barrel of measurement, comes two women who had wind in their wings. Now it's going to get interesting. I'm going to tie it in with Al-Qaeda. Yahweh predicted Al-Qaeda by name. By name. What book are you trusting? What book are you believing in for your salvation? Yahweh named Vincent. Are you with me? Or did I lose you? Yes. He named Al-Qaeda by name. Now you try to do that. Name a group that's going to exist 3,000 years from now. Go ahead and try it. We can barely remember our social security number. Just like Hamas. Exactly. Which means what? Violencia. Time out. Today's about. Is anyone enjoying? Wow, look at this side of the room. There's a whole bunch of disciples. I didn't even see you guys. I'm sitting over there. I think there's nobody here, but then I realize there's more folks over there. Now I feel better. Amen. Today's about Yahweh. So, from these two women sitting in the middle of the oil barrel, controlling people, places, and things, the political and economic cloud of the end-time beast, it says, in this barrel and the two women who were inside sitting on all this oil, there was that barrel was propelled by what? By what? By oil? No, by what? By wind. By wind. Turn to your neighbor and say, by wind.
By wind.
That was total. By wind. Watch this. And the wind was in their wings. Now what's going on here? This is a reference to, listen, to unclean wind or demonic moves and movements, all emanating in the world from these two women. The mother, Irake, and the daughter, the house of Saul. These two women are responsible for a stink coming out of their wings. Wings speak of mobility, and the wind speaks of demons and unclean spirits and doctrines that come out of their wings or their movement in all the world, and they just laugh and they just live and they just sit on top of this barrel, this measure of oil, and they just sit there, the mother and her daughter, and the whole world is breathing in their demonic doctrine, their demonic deity, and their demonic, whether you want to deal with them or you don't want to deal with them, you're breathing that stink into your house and into your life. Such is the power of the end-time beast. Are you with me? This is the wind in their wings, in their movement. Wings are a metaphor or symbolic for their doctrine, their movement. Wind is symbolic of demonic, unclean spirits emanating from this movement. And then at the head of this movement are these two women, the mother and daughter of Babylon, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia. Let's continue. For they had wings like the wings of a stork. Is a stork a kosher or a non-kosher bird? Can Yahweh be any more descriptive here? This is fascinating. Do you realize this was written 2,500 years ago? Do you realize this was written 1,100 years before someone named Muhammad was ever born? You want prophecy? You got it this Shabbat. You got it. This is prophecy. Todah Rabbi Yahweh. So this, their wings or their movement, their all-encompassing movement that is designed on the land of Israel, but it also goes to the ends of the earth, because it says in verse 6, all the transgressions of the earth are found in this woman. And then when you peel away the onions, you don't find one woman. You found Babylon and her daughter, the daughter of Babylon. So I get all these internet. And Rabbi, you know that the Catholic Church is the Babylon, and that the Protestant Church is nothing but another Catholic, the daughter of Babylon. Wrong, wrong, wrong. Neither the Baptists, the Methodists, or the Presbyterians have threatened to annihilate Israel as a bad wind. Ahmadinejad of Iran says Israel is a cancer that must be removed from the world, and they will be removed in a single day as if by a strong wind. That's what he said. And where is Iran? Iran is Nebuchadnezzar's Babylon. That's the very word that Ahmadinejad used. Israel will encounter a nuclear wind. Bye. And they'll be gone with the wind. The very words we read in Zechariah 5:9. That's right. The very words we read in Zechariah 5:9. The wind was in their movement. And their movement is not clean, it's not kosher, it is likened unto a stork. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Brothers and sisters, the stork is an unclean, unkosher bird. And the faith and the political economic blackmail emanating from these two women is unclean, hazardous to the physical and spiritual well-being of the nations, who drink her intoxicating oil or the wine of her fornication. Remember that terminology used in the book of Gilead? Remember that terminology? The wine of her fornication? What is the wine of her fornication? Oil coming out of that barrel where the woman sits. The physical and spiritual well-being of the nations receive the unclean, hazardous wind from this stork. All who drink her intoxicating oil or the wine of her fornication.